Well, the Netflix era is here, and we are here to talk about it.
Welcome to That Wrestling Podcast.
Welcome to the show. It is the Raw on Netflix post show, a special edition of That Wrestling Podcast. And it is 11 o'clock at night. I am surprised you guys did not dress up. Come on, guys. We're a major league production here. It's a new year. It's time to dress the part. I almost went sans shirt, but I don't know about. I'm not confident like Kev in a tank top. So,
well, it's nice. You wore your rock-inspired silk jammies.
We got the final boss of That Wrestling Podcast going on
the
right
only
now.
boss.
Yeah.
The boss.
The only boss.
That boss. There you go. I like that one better.
Well,
Go ahead, Joe.
You know, I said I had a little trouble getting started because I tried to put in my Netflix DVD and it just was not loading.
It didn't
and this
work?
is really annoying me. It didn't
Wow.
work.
Wow.
And then I tried to go old school with my Blockbuster one, and that didn't work either.
Wow.
Why
So
do you
annoyed.
have those?
So annoyed.
Joe, I'm glad you still do the DVDs because I never did DVDs. When I signed up for Netflix, it was when we lived in Dallas, so it was probably around 2011-ish for us. So, are you the only one to do DVDs out of the four of us? Kev, Brian?
I did
We did.
little. Yeah.
You did.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Do you remember the last DVD you rented from Netflix? Kev?
No.
I have to say I think it was the season finale of 6 Feet Under.
Okay. So it was the whole season?
Well, it was like you got one DVD at a time. So we'd watch a few episodes, send it back, watch a few episodes.
Gotcha. So, well, okay. So then let's talk about streaming and Netflix now. It's such a huge number one streamer in the world. What are you guys watching on Netflix? This is before we'll get into Raw in a few minutes, but what have you guys been watching? What's in your queue? What's on your my list on Netflix?
I'm not a big Netflix guy, to be honest. My wife dominates Netflix. She watches all these foreign language shows and
with the English dubbed over.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. All the time.
There's a movie. It's called The Cage. John Jones stars in it. It's from another country.
Yeah.
The voices are dubbed over. I just saw that was one of the previews after Raw ended. What else is she into, Brian?
Yeah. All of the Love is Blind, America, Mexico, Canada. Love is Blind across the globe.
Gotcha.
But I have gotten into Squid Game. I did finish season 2, Kev. We'll text about that for no spoilers here. Stranger Things. I've watched all those seasons. And some of the sports documentaries that they've done have been really good too. I've kind of watched a couple random ones here or there that they always do a really nice job with those.
What about you, Kev? What do you
it's same. I would say like Brian, I just finished Squid Game 2. And the original Squid Game came out like 3.5 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
That was probably my first ever show watching with, I'll say like Korean created, right? And then I got into a huge rabbit hole of like Korean associated series, which are all fantastic because they're always super gory, very, very complex thinking, but the same as Brian, the heavy hitters. Stranger Things, Wednesday's really good. Cobra Kai, right? It was on YouTube TV, was it the first
two
one?
seasons? Yeah.
And then thankfully I never watched it on that, and then that came out, and then I'm caught up with that. Usually the really, really popular stuff that comes out, I'm watching it, and I have one episode left of the McMahon docu.
Right.
I have one more.
Joe?
My wife calls Netflix the Gilmore Girls streamer because that's what she always watches on it. But now that that's on Hulu, which she has a Disney loyalty to, she's like, why do we even have Netflix? I'm like, because of Raw. So yeah, that's why we're keeping it, because it's like she only got it because of it was the only place to get Gilmore Girls, and that was like her thing. And it's a good show, but I don't really watch a lot of Netflix. I'm sorry, I'm lame.
You are lame, and you're all lame. How are none of you watching Heels? It's
Oh,
a
yeah.
wrestling
Because
show.
you recommended it, and that's why we said I did watch Glow, and that was
Oh,
a
I watched a
really
little
good show.
Glow. Yeah.
I did watch Glow when it was out, and I did really love that show.
Yeah,
But that was like 4 years ago.
Yeah.
and they never got their ending, which
Right.
sucks.
Netflix.
And I
Oh,
watched
Netflix.
and I watched. I was like one of the 6 people to watch Blockbuster, and I actually enjoyed that too.
I like that one. It was about the last Blockbuster video store.
Well, there's a documentary called The Last Blockbuster, which is on there, and then there was a sitcom that was inspired by
based
it,
on it.
which wasn't bad. It took place in Michigan, which I'm like, no, it's Bend, Oregon.
Okay.
Yes, you were one of 6 people.
I was one of the 6 people who watched it.
So on
That's
my
why I didn't get
now,
picked up.
I'm waiting anxiously for the final part of Cobra Kai. I'm in the middle of starting 5,
Episode
which is the whatchamacallit, the NBA show that came out about last season. So that's pretty cool. Full Swing was the golf reality show. I've never watched Stranger Things or Wednesday or any of the popular shows. I'm opposite of Kevin. But the show that I love, and I
You should
encourage
check out Blockbuster.
everybody to watch How to Build a Sex Room.
Oh,
It's a real show. And it's this like 60-year-old lady who comes in and creates a room in your house for sex. Hence the name, How to Build a Sex Room. It's awesome. And I love it. And I wish they would do more seasons of it, but they only have done 1 season. Yeah, so definitely go check that one out.
That's
Excellent.
one too many.
No, it's dude, watch 1 episode and you'll be hooked and you will.
What is this, like the street interviews from Real Sex? Take 1.
No.
Oh,
This is like
that's a
this is like a
throwback.
home improvement
Yeah,
show.
I went to
Right.
HBO there.
Yeah, it's like a it's just like it's a real show. It's like
home remodeling,
but it's
but
a room in your
here's the
house.
purpose, so you can boing somebody.
Yeah, you can like put some strap-ons attached to the wall, or
Wow.
swings, or bats, or whatever.
That
I
does
did
sound
watch,
hilarious.
movie-wise, about a month ago, in the final week, I watched all 3 of the 50 Shades movies. I'd never seen them. So,
And you survived.
I did.
Did that lady create the sex rooms for that?
No, she did not create
No,
the Red Room for Mr. Christian Grey. So, yeah, so Netflix is cool. And now we have the WWE on Netflix. And what's really cool, Raw just ended. Before we get into Raw, there is a lot of WWE programming on Netflix already. Problem is, you have to search for it. You have to go to the search, type in WWE, and all the different shows that they have. They have like, it's like like the Legends of Raw, and they have like 20 episodes, and they're like an hour or 2 hours, and it's great matches. Like I started watching the Cody one, and the first match was Cody and Goldust against Rollins and Reigns for the tag titles.
Great match.
Yeah, so they've got that, and they've got the Legends and a little intro and best of 2024. So all the cool stuff is on Netflix, which is amazing, because the stuff that's on Netflix that's been there for a week is better than a lot of the stuff that was on Peacock, which we'll get into all that stuff later. And this is about Raw on Netflix. So I'm sure on Thursday, Brian will talk about Tiffany Stratton cashing in and winning the title finally. I'm sure he'll talk about AEW on Max and all the other things, but this is about Raw only. And needless to say, it felt big.
Yeah.
I feel bad for every other arena that has to host Raw moving forward, because the Intuit Dome was the star of the show, I felt.
Yeah. I agree. With constant drone flying. Like I've never seen inside that arena ever, I don't think. So to see like the video board, I didn't realize that's their video
the Halo board.
Like normal,
it goes
right?
all the way
Halo
around
board.
both sides.
It's breathtaking. It's insane. Like the just the whole visuals of everything in the drones and like the crowd, the lights that attach to every seat that change colors, like,
and apparently
everything.
all those seats at the Intuit Dome, they have chargers. so you can charge your phone. They have the lights that flash kind of like the bracelets at AEW that Joe stole
Mhm.
3 or 4 years ago. Um, but the show starts with the nice 3-minute history of professional wrestling, narrated by Triple H, which I thought was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
And they showed it they had like the sheet wrapped around the Halo board. And what did you guys watch the Open at all earlier today, Monday, when it came out, or did you wait to see it live on Netflix?
I wanted to wait.
Waited.
Oh, you
Didn't
waited?
watch
Oh,
it.
you watched it,
Waited.
I
Brian.
watched.
I did
Yeah,
watch it,
I
surprisingly.
You
couldn't
guys,
wait.
you guys suck. You talk about not wanting spoilers, and then you're like,
I
I
know.
watched it.
I
I was so hyped during the day. So when
I
I
was
saw that, I'm
too.
like, I gotta see this.
I was at work and I'm just wired, and I was
Yeah.
listening to I listened to Sam Roberts' podcast about The Rock showing up. And then I listened to the Sports Illustrated with Triple H on it, talking about everything that's coming, where he said Raw was supposed to be 3.5 hours, and he was wrong. It was right around.
Thankfully,
And I got worked. It happens
Yeah.
to the best of us, I guess. So then Dwayne comes out carrying that make-believe title. When's he going to defend that? I mean, you guys know my take.
At the next Golden Globes against Vin Diesel. Hey,
Yeah.
Dwayne.
That was interesting. I
Dwayne.
watched that live and I'm like, that's cool. That could be the new generation. That could be this generation's want to do it.
Yeah.
And if you know, you know.
Yeah. If you know, you know.
So,
That's
Joe,
awesome.
do you know?
oh, I know. UFC, Undertaker, and
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
Brock.
He knows it.
I wasn't sure if you knew. So, what did
I'm
you
smart.
guys think of The Rock in the ring? He looks old as fuck, by the way.
Yes, he does. Thank
He's
you.
got
I actually
gray
said the
beard
same
like
thing. I'm
Kev.
like,
I thought I was looking in a mirror. From the massive you can see these 8-inch pythons,
And the
right?
goosebump
you
from
mean the
doing this show?
goosebumps? The goosebumps that you're showing?
I think he walked out in the lighting. It looked like he was the Incredible Hulk for a second. Like, and his arms looked ginormous.
Yeah.
I think the gray beard, I felt some sympathy for him. I don't think
Yeah.
he looked jacked, but during his entire mic performance, the compliments, the pandering to the crowd, I was just waiting for it to, okay, when's he gonna flip and start
And he didn't.
berating? And he didn't. So I give kudos to that because I was waiting for the whole time. I loved every second of it. I think I was also on a high from the intro video narrated by Triple H. I didn't know The Rock was going to come out, except we watched subtitles in our house.
Interesting.
Okay. And the subtitles are
He
about
likes to read.
2 seconds before anything happens. So it said electrifying by Jim Johnson or Jimmy Johnson. Whatever. So I was just like, oh, okay. And then you hear the do you smell?
Yeah.
I loved it. I loved every moment, second. Compliment to Cody. The shout out quick to Mama Rhodes handing his daughters the belt. Every single thing about The Rock and that whole thing was great.
This is The Rock I wanted at WrestleMania. Because we all know he's not a bad guy. He's not. So this was the Dwayne I wanted back in like March.
Mm-hmm.
Joe, you've been quiet. What do you think? Are you excited or are you disappointed because you waited 18 days to get that final boss Funko Pop? Did you want the final boss to return tonight? Did you think that was going to happen?
I thought it was going to happen. I thought it was the second most awkward promo of the night. We all know what the first most awkward promo was. It just didn't seem, it didn't flow with what he was doing. Like, he's given props to Cody. He's like, he never turned. He was corporate Rock. He was board member Rock. And if that's the next Rock, okay, I'm cool with that. But that makes last year kind of a waste. And I know you hated last year's Rock, Final Boss Rock. So this makes you happy. But I'm like, I don't like things being a waste. I like things progressing. And this one just seemed way too nice guy. Like, he acknowledged the crowd doing the Maui yell, which I thought was funny, but he did look really old. And I was hoping that he would turn on Roman somehow, but instead he handed him the Unifala, which is great. But yeah,
Everybody's friends.
it was the second most awkward promo of the night.
Yeah, we'll get into that a little later. Brian, thoughts
He
on Dwayne?
Yeah, first off, he comes out and he says the first official swear on Netflix. It was muted out,
Shocker.
but when
No, it
him
wasn't.
he was dabbing
No, when he was
he
talking to
was
Pat.
dabbing Cole and Pat.
Yeah, he's
And
not
Oh,
talking. He's
he
not
dabs
mentioning
Pat and
bullshit. That he's
he
not.
goes, yeah, that wasn't bleeped
Yeah,
out or muted out. He went to Pat and does the dab and he goes, let's fucking go. And the
uh,
F word was muted out. And I'm like, well, we're off the bat running here.
told you.
Yes, you did. I remember you were like, he's gonna go and do that immediately. Um, but yeah, no, I'm a little weird because we had what happened at WrestleMania. We had happen the day after WrestleMania, and the little thing at Bad Blood
Bad
where he
Blood.
comes out and does that thing at the end, and it was all kind of thrown out the window. And I think I would have, it was kind of a continuation of what Triple H did to begin with, where he kind of like welcomed everybody. So it's like, okay, now The Rock has to welcome everybody.
Yeah.
I don't hate it because it's The Rock and it's like, I get it. It's a huge moment. So you got to have it. But yeah, I was like you, Joe, where, him and Roman just stared at each other for 25 seconds. And I'm like, knee him in the balls. Come on, let's get it. And it didn't happen. And, you never know with his movie schedule when he will be here next or whatnot. So I wish something would have happened, but what went down was totally fine.
Yeah. And I was surprised we got Roman Solo first. I actually thought it might be the women's title match. I really did not think Roman was going to win. I was shocked and even more shocked that the match was about to start at 8:29 Eastern, and then it went to commercial. And then it came back. And then at 8:38 p.m. Eastern, they went to commercial again. That made me really nervous of what I thought this was going to turn into. Kev, what'd you think of did that stuff catch your eye at all? That they went a half hour and then they did do commercial breaks in 7 minutes?
I did. I enjoyed that Roman Solo was right off the bat because all during the day, Brett, he was like, yeah, can I watch some? And we're like, buddy, if you watch some, he goes back to school tomorrow. He's been off for like 3 weeks for Christmas break. And we're like, you need to get some good sleep, blah, blah, blah. 8:20 something rolls by and he's like, I hear, Dad, you didn't say goodnight to me. And I'm trying to ignore it because if I go up, I'm the one who riles him up in the bed. You know what I mean? And then it takes a long time to go to bed. But then he's like, I hear him open the door and he goes and he's like, let me just watch. And I'm like, buddy, you can just watch until someone stops talking. And then, the match starts. And I'm like, okay, you can watch one match, get the death stare from Laura a little bit. And then Brett, he's like, well, I need my brawler, buddy. And then he's like, what? And he jumps on me. So I sent you guys the photo. It's like, my cat's on me. Brett's on me. Brett's brawler buddy's on me. He was loving it.
It was tribal combat in Fort Wayne.
Yeah, exactly.
One, he hates Solo, I think, more than anybody in this world. Like he boos against him. He's like, I don't know why. I just don't get it. But I personally, I loved the match. I loved it how Solo was whooping Roman for like the first 80% of it because it legitimately showed he was a badass. Because Cole, I think, a couple times mentioned, he was the street fighter. So it's like, you're not just going to take a whooping if you're that persona previously before. So
I'm surprised Cole got it wrong. He's the street champion.
Street
Wasn't
champion.
A street fighter. He was a street champion.
Yeah, he's not Blanca
Cole
or
got that
anything
wrong.
like that. But there's a lot of offense from Solo. So who knows? Maybe we're getting swerved. Maybe The Rock's actually gonna come and be the bad guy to cost Roman something on January 27th, right? That Raw. Who knows? Maybe we're all getting the wool pulled over us. But I thought Netflix
The
Say what?
January 27th, that's the 2K release, right? Is that what that means?
But it's also
It's a Monday. So I'm guessing that's the next Raw Roman's on.
I took it as he was going to be there at Raw, and he's the cover for
Yeah, that's what I
WWE
think
2K.
so.
So maybe you go the lifespan of Roman. Who knows? That for talk about that on January 29th.
No, we won't because three of us will be in Miami.
We'll
So,
talk about that
the
February
26th, January 26th, because I'm sure
Yes.
we'll record early that week.
But
We
I
all-
thought
we all have
Netflix
vacation.
started hot with that intro.
Yeah.
The Rock, I thought it was hot. That match was hot. They were just at a 10 up to that match, in my eyes at least.
You know what else was hot? Roman's kicks. Those sneaker boots.
Yep.
He has his own deal with Jordan, but I love those. Those were very reminiscent of what Kobe Bryant sneakers used to look like. Maybe it was a thing because he was in LA. But man, that was great. Joe, thoughts on the match?
This sounds strange, but I wanted more interference. I didn't think there was enough. For
wow.
tribal combat, there should have been more interference. I love that there was interference and it got everyone involved, but I'm like, I wanted more. I wanted more run-ins. I wanted this to be Attitude Era WCW, like everyone's interfering, like we got at WrestleMania 40. But I love the match. I think it was the right call because Solo and his group are going to stay on SmackDown while
Right.
Roman's transitioning to Raw. So that's just the way it's going to be.
I think Roman will be on SmackDown quite a bit still. I mean, maybe he's on.
I think he's going. I think he's going to be with Raw.
Pop up on Raw. So,
I think he's going to be on Raw mostly.
Kevin Owens interference. Thought that was an interesting twist to it all. I didn't see that coming.
Yeah.
No.
That was kind of, so you said it quickly, Joe. That was the WrestleMania 40 Night 2 main event vibes I was getting of here's Tama Tonga, here's Jacob, here's Kevin Owens, here's Cody, here's Jimmy Uso, here's Sam. Yeah, it was like everybody. I was like, they're taking the formula of the Mania Night 2 main event and putting it as the very first Raw Netflix match, and it was a lot of fun. So yeah, I didn't see that coming, and then when KO came out, it was like, that's the whole deal here.
So the question now, Roman is the tribal chief. What's next? What do you think they do with Roman next?
Whew. That's a great question. I think he goes after Cody. I mean, the one thing that I don't know quite how they get there, but they talked about it of Solo saying, like, if he loses, he will acknowledge Roman as tribal chief.
Right.
So it's a way to just essentially go, okay, Roman since SummerSlam has been a quote unquote good guy, and let's go back to who he really is, this egomaniac tribal chief who, is obsessed with having the championship and wants to get his Mania win back.
Ooh.
Nope.
Joe, what do you think?
Roman stays on Raw, goes after Gunther, takes his title, makes it relevant in the Island of Relevancy, and we get Roman versus CM Punk for that title since CM Punk is already on Raw, and they're CM Punk's main event. That was Heyman's promise. His favor.
Did your wife tell you that during Raw? Is that why you're because she's she's the wrestling brain in your house.
Her only response her only response to Raw was that was a really nice video at the beginning. I hope they don't show it every week.
That's not the new Open. Not the new Open.
No, she's like, I hope that's not the new Open because that could get old.
Yeah, I don't know. Tonight left me with a lot of okay, so what's next? And we'll get into that throughout the course. We got John Cena. Joe, on WWE Shop for 1 week, there is a pre-order of the John Cena Farewell Tour Funko Pop. The pre-order is the order, so you don't have to wait in a queue for 8 days like you did for the final. So,
which mine's 100% legit.
And if you buy enough of them, you get $20 off American Express if you spend over 100 on Fanatics.
Oh, Fanatics.
Buy yourself 3 of them, Joe.
I did buy one
But I won't be able to see them. They're all going to be invisible.
Well, no, the invisible one is vaulted. This is one in the blue gear like you had on tonight.
Yeah, I wish I would have got that one when I saw it online, but whatever.
Yeah. So John Cena. Oh, I'm not gonna win the title. I'm not gonna do this. But wait a minute. What if I enter the Royal Rumble? And then it ends up that he is going to win. He proclaims he's going to win the Royal Rumble. Do we think John Cena is going to win the Royal Rumble?
I don't, but the crowd loved it.
Yeah.
They loved it. When he was, trying to ease into it of saying, whatever, I haven't won a match in 2,000 days, and it's probably not going to happen. You could hear the murmuring.
I love the, well, I'm not going to win an Oscar. You know how that's going to go.
Yeah. That was a good line.
But there was a fun sign that said Peacemaker is greater than Black Adam. So that made me laugh.
That is true, though.
It's probably, that's probably true. So yeah, but that was my biggest takeaway of what he did get into, like, maybe I can, maybe I will, I guess I will. Like, the crowd ate it up. That's gonna be a fun story to watch this year. But yeah, I don't think it's as simple as win the Rumble, go to WrestleMania. Maybe it's an elimination chamber thing, or maybe it's not even at WrestleMania. Maybe they push it off until
two-night SummerSlam.
2-night SummerSlam.
We are not attending this year. So.
It's a year, it's a year tour. They could hold it to December of next year and give it like the last chance, last dance sort of thing.
So I'm sure we're going to do predictions come Thursday, but do we think John Cena wins the 17th title?
I do.
Kev?
We're like for the entire year, anytime?
Does he win the 17th world title?
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
As all think,
Jay?
For some reason in my mind, I thought you said, does he win the Rumble?
Oh.
No.
I know it's late, but
late.
I did not say that. He said he's going to win the Rumble. I don't know. I mean, I think it would make sense for him to win a title to erase Ric Flair.
That's why Flair was lacing his boots. If Cena wins that 17th title, Flair's going to challenge him to get that 17th.
When I saw that today, I'm like, no.
Stop.
Just take away a lot of the words. Just leave the one old.
Yeah. We also got a video preview that Logan Paul is going to become a full-time wrestler. I'm in. I love it.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been on the train since he showed up. All the bullshit rumors of him and Conor McGregor fighting for $250 million in India is bullshit. Chael Sonnen said so. So Logan Paul, full-time wrestler. What do we think happens to Logan Paul in 2025? He's going to be on Netflix. He is a star. We'll go with Joe. Logan Paul.
He's just going to basically show off what he's been doing since he's got there. He's going to be hands down above the rest and possibly get the IC title, but not the main title this year because he doesn't need it because he's already a global superstar. So he's just going to make Netflix on Raw a bigger deal.
I would love to see him and Gunther slap the shit out of him.
Ooh,
that would be fun.
That would be.
Kev, anything on Logan Paul?
Yeah, give him a King of the Ring.
Oh,
like that.
All right.
Give him something. If not a belt, because if you get a belt, I don't know if who the people who have them. I know it just started. The year's only, January 6th at time of recording, but I don't necessarily want to see anyone lose. So the first thing I can think of is King of the Ring.
Good. Brian, anything?
Yeah, I was thinking in that kind of upper mid card range of like a feud with Sami Zayn, a feud with Jey Uso. Maybe he takes on Braun for IC. Yeah, and I just like to see more. When he had that U.S. title run, he would kind of disappear for 6 weeks and then do a promo to set up the next PLE match. So if it is going to be a more regular occurrence, all the better. Because he's nothing but home runs ever since he started doing this.
And what I thought was the match of the night was Liv versus Rhea. I really enjoyed that match. I think it was the right call. for Rhea to regain. Undertaker was a little weird. Didn't see that coming.
Well, you
Earlier
only saw it for
today,
30 seconds.
That's all it's needed.
That's
That's
all.
all it's needed. Go listen to his podcast. It's fucking amazing. I love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, the American Badass. So very cool. Earlier in the day, Sean Ross Sapp said, "Hey, Undertaker's in LA." So
I was worried. Did you guys get worried or just thought like he just rode by Rhea, right?
at first, yeah.
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 I thought I was like, oh man, did they just like kind of cut off her victory and be
'Cause
like,
she was like,
I
"Let me
gotta ride a
clean-"
motorcycle to the ring.
She's like, let me clean this for him.
And then he just
Yeah.
went. I'm like, oh.
Yeah. So I was like, oh no, are they like
I thought
missing
maybe she
this
was going to jump on
moment?
the back with him.
Yeah,
Nope,
something.
that didn't happen either.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
you
was
cut
like,
to
oh
Michelle
no.
McCool, be like, that's my man.
That would have been a bad move to have her jump on the back, because that would have meant that she was the passenger, and what that to me was Undertaker passing the torch to Rhea as
Yeah.
the next big
Headman?
star. Like, she is bigger than the women's division. She is a
Right.
main eventer, no matter what gender. Like
So
I've been
she's
saying
the-
for the past 2 years.
So
She's the new
gonna be
Undertaker of
instead of Priest.
yeah.
Is that what you're saying?
I actually thought Priest would
Yeah.
come out too. Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
Because
no Priest.
they've had those connections that
Yeah,
No,
Australian
he passed the American Badass moniker to Rhea.
But
the
and then she's
Australian.
Australian. Yeah.
From
That
South
doesn't matter.
Australia.
And
The
Australian,
Australian
badass. Watch or drink Foster's.
Foster's isn't real. Remember, Simon told us.
Watch the kangaroo kick. You can row with Dingo, or you can never mind.
Good work.
Wow. All right.
Watch
Yeah.
the kangaroo.
I'll be here all night. I'm exhausted.
Radio edit.
And then
Isn't that how it always go?
Mania
saw-
edit.
Yeah.
Then they showed a clip of The Rock's Instagram, which I didn't see, but he saw Travis Scott, he saw all these people, and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go to NXT tomorrow." Huh?
Have fun.
He
Well,
takes a swig
okay.
of tequila, he drinks some vodka, and then gets it
Yeah, so he
behind the
drunk-
wheel.
drank
That was a
and
bad
drove.
idea.
Right.
He drank
That
and
was a
drove
bad
in
look.
Inglewood.
Terrible.
You
Up to
are
no
a
good.
board member.
Exactly.
It is it's a bad look. That was a
Up.
bad look from them. I know it was on Instagram, but they showed it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
He's walking around with a open bottle of booze, and then gets behind the wheel. That was a bad look.
And Rock talks about how he always drives. He doesn't like having a driver. He drives himself. So
Yeah,
naughty.
Yeah, those women, the women both brought it.
Yeah.
I compliment to Liv. I thought with the living dirty, the shirt, she just looked like $1 million, but Rhea looked like $1,000,001. I feel like she looked like it. Maybe my mind went blank, but is she always recently worn like extremely China-esque? Like I feel like that was
Rhea?
yeah.
I mean, I thought
Black
tonight
leather
was more
things.
Like
revealing
today more than
normal.
any. I for some reason I was just maybe because I watched the McMahon documentary and I saw China 30 times while watching.
I
but
thought Rhea was more revealing tonight than in the past. I don't
thought
remember her exposing her.
Netflix.
I thought it was always connected. So.
but both women looked they have such good chemistry. Such good chemistry.
And now it's over. They need to separate for
Yeah.
another.
Thankfully.
Yep.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And do not give me Raquel versus Rhea.
No, I don't want that. What do you?
Raquel
What
needs
is,
to-
okay, what is next for Rhea?
Ooh.
And
A
what is
returning
next for
Becky.
Liv, too?
Yeah, that's kind of where I was going. Returning Becky.
Live transfer portal goes to SmackDown.
Does Becky
down
go to
with that.
SmackDown or does she go to Raw?
Goes
Because
to
Linda
Raw.
keeps saying she retired Becky Lynch.
Yeah.
I thought we were going to get Becky tonight. Thought we were going to get
I
Charlotte.
thought there was a chance of that. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Then we got Jay and Drew. I think that match went way too long.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I agree.
It was kind of boring to me. It wasn't. I mean, maybe I'll go back and watch it again. But
And the wrong winner.
you think
100% wrong. 100% wrong winner.
why?
Takes away Drew's hit list. he loses his first like match against the hit list. I mean, come on, that was a 100% wrong victory.
But it was kind
Even if
of
it was a fluke, even if it was a fluke,
that's
it
exactly.
makes Drew look stupid. It makes Drew look stupid. 100%. I have to. It was the second worst decision of the night when it came to Raw.
I think the only thing I thought the match went long.
I'm all about
I think,
second worst tonight.
I think my least favorite is, and it wasn't like a botch ending. It's like, the miss, and then Drew had to like kind of antsy back in to get rolled up slightly. I wish they kind of went off the cusp and did something else. I feel like they kind of tried to repair what didn't kind of go smooth. I think that's what kind of ruined the match for me. But both of them looked good. The match was decent.
I just thought it was too long.
I just think with those other three matches, I feel like it kind of had to go long because it had to fill in the 3 hours. They had so much. How many more stars can you show in the crowd? Oh, by the way, shout out to Will Friedel. He didn't get the love.
He didn't get no
Sabrina
love,
got
but Danielle
shown.
Fishel did. So,
Oh yeah.
Vanessa Hudgens getting all the WWE
Yep.
love as of late, which is cool.
How about the
Shea
Pop
Jackson
McCauley guy?
Jr. with the
Yeah.
Lakers title in Clippers home.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
And then there
Right.
was that one guy they announced, and I had no idea who he was. And Pat's like, "Oh, look at that!" But no, I had no
Yeah.
idea.
Oh yeah, they have like facial hair. Yeah, I had no clue. No.
What
clue.
about when the cameraman went to X-Pac, went off him almost immediately, and you could hear in the back, he's a wrestler. Go back to X-Pac.
Yeah,
Wait,
they
you can
did
hear
that.
that?
No, that's what I'm
Yeah,
saying.
because they
yeah,
went to
right.
Bianca and Naomi.
And then they had to go
And-
back because they
and-
hadn't put up his graphic up yet.
Mhm.
And it's interesting that Nikki was the Bella
Yes.
there.
Oh, of
Yes.
course, Bree's not gonna be there. Her husband's with AEW, and Nikki has nothing else going on. She's getting divorced, and she's probably gonna come back to WWE. I bet.
I was still surprised though because it's been a while since we've seen either of them, and I thought there was a little bit.
Well, I mean, we saw them in August, so
true.
Yeah,
On WWE Pro,
you caused all this.
I did
You
cause.
know, I know there was a whole like we're the Garcia twins now. Like they're not the Bella, but she was Nikki Bella tonight, so maybe
he was into me.
Yeah.
I thought it was funny because they showed her
but
and they were talking, and then I'm like, they're not gonna say her name,
Yeah.
and then they said her name because
And they did.
Michelle and I were watching, and she knows who that is. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Joe has referred to this a few times tonight, but it is now time for
Time to play the game.
The most awkward moment of the first.
Hulk Hogan comes out and immediately gets booed. They must have had that beer being sampled outside of the Intuit Dome along with C4 and Prime. That's had to be why LA booed him so bad. It was rough.
I read on the Raw post show they interviewed him and Jimmy, and Hogan went to Jimmy and said, "Are they booing me?" And Jimmy said, "No, they were saying boo earns."
Yeah,
Ooh,
I
what?
get it. I get it.
No, that's the
It's a
Simpsons
Simpsons
joke.
reference. You won't get it.
Sorry.
I farted.
Wow.
Thank you, Fiona. Yeah,
Shout
thank you.
out to Jimmy Hart for looking the same for over 45
Oh,
years.
he's
though.
timeless.
He looks
Talk
like
about
25
timeless.
years old. He doesn't get old.
Yeah,
The fountain of youth.
that was rough, man.
That was
Thank you,
that
Fiona.
was that was rough. That
It
was
bad.
that was hard to watch.
Yeah.
And Jason, you were there for Ric Flair's last match.
Oh,
What
yeah.
was harder to watch? Ric Flair
Well, I was nervous for Ric Flair's
or
last match. I mean,
that?
granted, he did pass out a couple times in the match, and I thought he was going to die. This was bad. The best part of the promo was the Netflix is Raw shirt.
Oh, it's
I wish I would have known that was the local merch. I would have had somebody buy one for me, but
It's
Is it when he grunted? He was like,
yeah, it was a
Yeah.
bad look.
And then
So,
he's walking back to the back, and the shirt is like around his ankles. Like it's not even off.
it-
His ripped shirt was
Well,
like
the
around
whole-
his leg, so he can't
the
even
whole-
walk a full
it
stride.
this is
like,
what it
oh,
reminded me of.
This is not fun.
It reminded me of Booker T versus Buff Bagwell in Washington D.C. instead of being in Atlanta the week later. Wrong town to bring Hogan in.
it was
If you're going to bring Hogan in to promote the beer, which is like this is a business thing, you wait until Saturday night's main event when it's in Texas. This was a
Mm,
political swing and a
True.
miss. That's all I thought about. Like they chose the wrong town,
That's true.
the wrong state, the wrong everything. And I'm not a political guy, but even I saw that coming from like a mile away. That was bad. That was like the worst Hulk Hogan moment in the history of all of his television appearances, and that even takes away the Yeti. That was
yeah, I mean,
bad.
I think we all can agree on that.
the entire segment started bad when in the back you saw someone run from one side to the other.
Saw that.
If you're looking down the
That
tunnel,
may or may not have been someone I may or may not have known who may or may not work at WWE.
Gotcha.
I farted.
So, yeah,
It was bad. It was bad, and I felt bad for everyone involved. But I can't believe that they were so tone deaf to allow that to happen.
oh,
you know, they
it was
gotta try it.
he has his name on the mat in two
Yep.
different areas. That was part of the deal.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
obviously that's
Yeah.
going to be part of the deal. I don't know if this well, let's talk about that real quick. All the sponsors on the ring mat. What do you guys think of that? Brian?
I was fine with it. I don't
Kev?
know. I don't know if I'm not sensitive to it anymore
Yeah,
based on UFC and stuff. The mat is gray. I don't know if that adds to it. It looked good.
It looked like a prize fight, like big
Yes.
time boxing because of the squared ring. The only thing I didn't like about the color felt like the ring it's just the illusion, probably because black is slimming. The ring seemed very small.
Okay.
Like that's my only thing.
I'll
I
have to go
liked
back
it a
and
lot
look.
though. I dug it.
What do you think, Joe?
You mentioned prize fight. That's what it made. That's what it looked like to me. It looked like a big deal. I loved it. I love the change. I love that they're getting away from the old smoke-filled bingo halls and turning this into a
They haven't
global
done
phenomenon.
smoke-filled
Loved it.
bingo halls in 40 years, Joe. What the
Yeah.
fuck?
But they still had the rings that way. Like have sponsors on there. Make it a big deal. I loved
What
it.
did
It
you
made
guys
it seem
think?
like it was a prize fight.
Do you think it's
What-
also potentially to like hide sweat so they don't have to change the ring?
No,
mat
because
as
they
much?
changed.
They change them out almost every match.
No,
in the
I
first
I
part.
I know that, but I'm
Yeah, they
saying,
change
do you
them
think
out like
they'll-
every match. That's not a big deal.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably
because of the look of what it was on the gray. A lot of times,
well, sweat
No,
would
they'll-
show on gray more than it would be on blue.
no, it kind of looked like a heather, but
Eh.
I
All
thought
I know is
I liked it.
I really liked the referee's new look.
It looked good too.
Black and
Sharp.
gray.
Yeah,
Very cool. Very
The
very-
logo looks great. Like
Yeah.
the silver with the red accents.
The
I
one
thought the
line down
graphics looked great.
Yeah.
I
All that
even
stuff
like
looked
the
great.
new Mike flag. It makes
Yeah.
it look sleek.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
It's
that
circle.
too.
It's not square, it's a circle.
Mhm.
So the main event, CM Punk versus Seth Rollins. I did not see it going this way. I'm concerned now because Seth Rollins lost to a guy that he probably shouldn't have. If I will go first on the what's next for Seth, he needs to go away for 2 months. And when he comes back, no sing along, no flashy clothes. He needs to go into like rebuilding mode because he lost to CM Punk, a guy that he should not have lost to. If Punk would have lost, Punk's like, well, yeah, you're younger than I am. You should have beat me. So now that Punk won, I think Seth needs to go away for a little while.
so he
Thoughts?
needs to go in rebuild mode.
Yes.
So he needs to be an architect.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I agree with you. I don't know if he necessarily has to go away, but it has to be changed up now. Yeah, I think back to that backstage conversation he had with Drew. Maybe we can call back to that. They both lost on the Netflix debut. Maybe it's,
Ooh,
hey, we need to fix some things
the
that didn't
beginning of the
go our
sword.
way.
The
Yeah,
sword.
yeah. Let's start
Throw,
stabbing people with
throw,
a sword.
throw KO in there too.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
New Day. Because they're all
And the New
talking.
And
Day.
New Day,
They all make
yeah.
sense.
Yeah, all these common sense guys. Yeah, no, I agree. And that ended up being a clean sweep every match. I think there was 5 matches. Every match the babyface won.
Ooh,
You know,
all right.
Rhea won, uh,
Punk one.
Punk
Roman.
won,
Roman.
Roman. Yeah, it was
Okay.
Jay won. So yeah, so I was a little surprised. I really enjoyed the match. I love Seth. His aggressiveness really came through. I thought he kicked the shit out of Punk. We
Yeah.
had 2 GTSs, pedigree on the table, pedigree in the ring. The only thing that
Well,
Punk really did was that swinging neck breaker off the top rope was
yeah.
fucking cool. I was like,
And
oh
then
shit.
there was a point in the beginning of the match where they ended up outside, and I felt like Punk hit his ribs like on the
Yeah.
corner of the
Yeah,
railing.
yeah,
And then they fought into the crowd. And I love the new camera shot. Those were drone shots during the match, which I don't
Mhm.
think they've done that before. Like, yeah, they've had the drone like come through the intro and all that bullshit. But I didn't think they would do it during the. I've never seen it during the match, and I really enjoyed that.
yeah,
Definitely during the main event, I noticed it a few times. I don't know if I noticed it during some of the other matches.
yeah. Agree.
I would say if Punk doesn't go, or Punk's not going away, if Seth doesn't take a little bit of time, right? Because he mentioned, oh, Becky's been off because she's raising our daughter. Perfect.
Mhm.
Go help raise the daughter. But if he doesn't, I don't know when the draft is or the shakeup or whatever. Put
Transfer
him to
portal.
SmackDown. Put Drew to SmackDown. Right? KO's already there. The teasing with what new Shield, blah blah blah.
No, the sword.
Or the have them all be on
Get it? Sword and
SmackDown
shield.
with Cody. Right?
Yes.
Uh, and it's an easy switch up because we had uh was it Bailey talking to Adam Pierce in the back?
Yes, it was.
So we're kind of getting hinting that Bailey might be coming maybe to Raw. Like,
Yeah.
so there's already things in the pipeline, a lot of areas. So I think Seth needs a change of landscape. I personally really enjoyed the match because just with some of those punches and at the end those slaps where they each had 2 good slaps in the middle of the ring and then they the soft punches, but like those slaps themselves, both of them got one really good one in, and I'm just like, okay. I half expected when Punk got the 3, ref was holding him up, I half expected him to go and, like, you know what I mean, just put head to head and just say something or something to bury the hatchet. I
Nope.
thought I thought the match, I didn't think it was great, but I also thought it was right at that 10 level. I thought everything was at the 10 level just because I
Yeah.
was on such a high through the whole event. There's part of me thought the thing was going to go an extra half hour though, because
I'm so
when
glad
you
it didn't.
mentioned earlier it was going to go to 11:30, but I'm perfectly fine with CM Punk winning just because uh, Seth's been on the unlucky side. It kind of propels CM Punk to continue with that WrestleMania dream. And I thought Punk looked pretty good. Vulnerable, yes, but
That hair is getting too long.
I think yes, it looked very like a lot of product in it when he was in the corner when he was like pushed and you saw it kind of like just flowing. Man,
Yep.
just at the beginning is what gave me the goosebumps is when Punk was just standing there in his undies. You saw Seth on the other side, like Seth growling to himself.
Mhm.
Mm-mm-mm. It was great.
We did lose Joe because
I farted.
and so we will talk to Joe on Friday as we return.
Yeah.
Final thoughts on Raw on Netflix debut. We'll start with you, Brian.
So the biggest takeaway I had was I did not expect this to be such a show catering to if you're watching Raw for the very first time.
Mhm.
Because if you picked up on Michael Cole, somebody would come out and he would give their background in 30 seconds of, for example, Solo Sikoa. He took the Ulafala, not like Roman, who had the tribal chief bestowed onto him. Dirty Dom comes out. Dominic, he turned his back on his dad and fought him. Like, it was we are treating this like we have a brand new audience. So it was very weird in that sense that they always, talked about the background of everybody. Gunther's video package. That was
Oh, good.
if
Like
you,
that.
it was excellent, but it was a very much like, I'm the champion. If you don't know who I am, here I am.
Yeah.
So I guess I didn't expect that going into that. So that really struck me as like, oh, and it makes sense because they are saying this is all over the world right now and everything else. So that was my biggest takeaway as far as how the show itself was. A couple little quick notes. I like the little nod of the move to the music Union Underground, the old Raw theme that they did when they were introducing the celebrities. That was pretty cool. I talked about the pop that Macaulay Culkin got. That was great. Looks like we're getting Gable versus Penta next week.
Or are we getting Gable versus Dragon Lee? And I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. That really threw me because I had a very scalding hot take on Twitter today that it was going to be Penta and Ray, and then Selena was going to turn on them, and Selena and Penta were going to go kick ass like it did in NXT when it was Selena and Andrade. Like, I was hoping that's good. Now I don't know what the hell's going on.
Yeah. And I texted that. I was like, I thought that match was tonight.
Yeah,
it clearly wasn't. And when I looked it up myself, then they were like, they said a match, but they didn't say specific of Ray mystery partner versus New Day, which seemed like the Penta spot. They ran the graphic today and spelled out his name,
and they're letting him keep his name. So I wonder if it's Penta, if maybe it's just Penta. Because when he was in Lucha Underground, which is where I first saw him, he was Pentagon Zero, and then something happened with CMLL, so then he was Pentagon Dark. And then it was all the stuff in AEW. He had a bunch of different names when he was Hero, and he was in all the black gear. So I don't know. I'm excited to see it. Kev, final thoughts on Raw.
I do. I think in my mind, it might be the best Raw of all time for me.
I'll second that.
Just from the production, the matches, the feel, the production. I was really scared that there's going to be some glitches. I'm not even scared watching Raw or even thinking about it in the future. I thought McAfee, welcome back, buddy. I thought that was some of the best Pat. If I can remember, I thought him and Cole they're like two peas to a pod. It makes me very, very happy for 2025 because we've multiple times throughout the show, we don't know what's going to happen next. We don't know where it's going to go from here, right? What's going to happen with Seth? What's going to happen with Cena? What's going to happen with Roman? Usually we have pretty good guesses. To have 4 40-some-year-old men who usually predict pretty well, not knowing what's going to happen, they did their job. Well. They did their job correctly. I do. And it's a great time to be a wrestling fan.
What I find interesting is with the Netflix. You log on to Netflix, it's WWE. So I'm curious if this will go for you guys too. If I have anybody in my life that isn't into wrestling and they know I'm majorly into wrestling, and they'll say, hey, I watched Raw and that Rhea Ripley's really cool. And like, what's her story? And I'm curious if that's going to happen at like a family function or, somebody sees me wearing a wrestling shirt. They'll stop and talk that I'm curious about that. And the new fans, or maybe the old fans that, happen to come back because they're watching How to Build a Sex Room on Dom and Live edition.
Oh, you mentioned it's going to be a lot of cross promoting for sure. We saw, Fluffy was on there tonight. He has a special coming out.
I love
yeah.
Right?
Fluffy, Michael Chi, is it? Or
Che.
Michael Che. Yeah. Anybody they showed was like, who has a Netflix show, underneath them. So totally get it. And I get it. And there was a great line. Triple H was on McAfee earlier on Monday and talk about just the importance of this move and just how Netflix has such reach and is such a cultural just so popular in culture. He goes, nobody uses the term, hey, do you want to CBS and chill tonight? It's Netflix and chill, right? I was like, that's a great line. Which, by the way, fun fact, one of our podcast names that didn't quite make the cut was Suplex and Chill. We might want to we may have wanted to revisit that eventually, because that, looking at it now, it's like, God damn, that would have been really good. It's
probably gone by now.
It probably is.
When I came up with all these names, I also registered the domains and the social.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then when we decided on That Wrestling Podcast, I got rid of all the other ones. So
yeah.
Raw,
shout out to Suplex and Chill. I'm sure they're doing great work, whoever they are.
I'm sure. Let us know what you thought of Raw on Netflix. Episode 1 is in the books. We are done because it is almost midnight, I think.
Just after.
Just after.
Yeah. Happy Tuesday, everybody.
Oh, Brian,
you guys gonna watch NXT later tonight?
In theory, I want to see Rock. I want to see The Rock. He's gonna team up with Hank and Tank, is what my sources are telling me. Can't wait.
Gotcha.
Oh man.
Or he's gonna check in on his daughter. That's my better guess. Yeah.
I got a message about you on the Twippies.
Oh.
Your look was very entertaining when you realized it was 2025. At the end.
My bad, yeah.
Greg's like, oh my God, Brian's face. Like he looks like you caught him with his pants down.
That was good.
So yeah, it was a good one. At WrestlePod on the socials. We're on YouTube as well, at That Wrestling Podcast. If you're watching this on YouTube, make sure to subscribe and like and share. We're I don't know, we haven't really set a goal for 2025 yet for YouTube. Maybe we'll do that on the Friday show.
Good idea.
We'll do predictions. We'll talk about AEW on Max. We will talk about Tim Stratton and the blowout of The Rock, Hank, and Tank against the Rascals on NXT.
Dream.
I think that's it. So wherever you are, thanks for watching. We'll talk to you Friday.
I farted.
Thanks for watching That Wrestling Podcast on YouTube. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. And for more That Wrestling Podcast content, follow at That WrestlePod on social media.